But let's get right to it, man. Next topic, man, is a lawyer, right here in Harris County. If you don't know, the CEO Hockley tapping in from Texas. I'm in the Houston, Galveston area. A lawyer right here in Harris County was caught smuggling in drugs into the Harris County jail. He was basically bringing in them niggas synthetic paper that was laced with like a weed kind of chemical to what people get high. 2 motherfuckers died on this shit. This is what I'm telling you. It was paying him $300 a sheet or some shit like that. 2 motherfuckers end up dying on this shit. Motherfuckers in the jailhouse high as a bitch. 2 motherfuckers end up dying. That nigga ass is in jail now. And he ain't no young lawyer. He a old school lawyer. You know what I'm saying? Straight up, man. I'm talking about, man, you just be surprised of people's thought process and what people think they can get away with and what they think they can do, right? But we finna pull that shit up. Yeah, we finna pull that shit up right here in a minute and see what that shit look like. Hold on, let me get over here. Show it to y'all real quick. No fake love. We was showing. Ooh, ooh. We was pulling up. No fake love. No fake love. Yeah, man, old school was hustling, man. Old school, old as fuck, he was hustling. He was charging them niggas $300 a sheet. The goddamn me bring that shit in, man. And motherfuckers got in that bitch and started selling that shit, and 2 people died. Bro, I'm like, what the fuck is going on? 2 people died on the shit, man. Straight up, man. Again, now he in jail, and they dealing with that shit. But, you know, I'll let them tell you better than I can tell you, because I don't want y'all to think I just be making shit up and pulling these stories out my ass, man. This shit is for real.
2 inmates reportedly died ingesting those drugs, but whether the 2 are related, court documents reveal that 2 inmates reportedly died after ingesting those drugs, but whether the 2 are related is still under investigation. ABC 13's Alex Bazarjian has more.
77-year-old Ronald Lewis was referred to as the middleman in court today. Documents that came out of that probable cause hearing say that he had a supplier of synthetic cannabis outside of the jail. His job was to smuggle the drugs inside, meet with the inmates, and then collect the money. We know that Lewis was licensed to practice law in the state of Texas. Today, his public defender called him semi-retired, but we do know, according to those documents, that none of the inmates that he met with during this time period were his clients.
It was a widespread operation.
Ronald Lewis's part in an alleged drug smuggling scheme came to light in a Harris County courtroom Saturday. According to documents, Lewis's involvement spanned from July to November of this year.
The defendant in this case received money from jail inmates to whom he delivered drug-laced papers. Several inmates reported adverse side effects. 2 inmates died as a result of ingesting the substances brought into the jail by this defendant.
Lewis was smuggling in synthetic cannabis, according to court documents. The magistrate noted while there may be correlation between the drugs ingested and the inmate deaths, the final medical examiner reports in both cases are still pending.
I don't have evidence of causation at this time.
The magistrate also noted Lewis had some kind of supplier on the outside, and there was no allegation he was mixing the substances himself. But she says it's reasonable to assume Lewis, as a once fully practicing attorney, knows the dangers of these kinds of drugs.
It's nothing but chemicals. It's not regulated. And there is no quality control.
Lewis was working with several Baker Street jail inmates to pull off the scheme, according to court documents. He's now facing 2 counts of possession of prohibited substances in a correctional facility. Lewis posted bond and is due back in court on Monday. His status could change, though, pending the outcome of the medical examiner reports on both deceased inmates.
I'm not going to find causation at this time. Even the state doesn't have that information before this time. And I also recognize that if the state develops that information, they can and will file new charges.
Part of Lewis's bond agreement is that he can't make any contact with more than 24 inmates inside of the Harris County Jail. In downtown Houston, I'm Alex Bazarjian, ABC 13 Eyewitness News.
Well, listen, man, that's when hustling goes wrong, man. But he's 77 years old, and I think if they charge him with them 2 bodies that he did catch, he gonna check out of here anyway, man. Look like he was barely standing up in that bitch. And listen, y'all do not let me show y'all something, man. Let me show you where you don't want to be, right? You do not want to be in a room like this. Hold on. Right here. I'm going to stop this motherfucker right here. You do not want to be here. Look at these people in here. All these people are inmates or people coming out of holding tank. They haven't even made it to the top floor yet. This is them seeing the judge the next day after being arraigned. Let CEO Hockley teach y'all something about this jail shit. They been sleeping on a motherfucking concrete floor for a whole day. Look at these motherfuckers, man. They been you when you go listen. These rappers ain't gonna tell you this shit, man. They have been sleeping in a holding tank amongst dolphins, amongst murderers, or everybody is sleeping in this bitch waiting to get arranged and waiting to see court. They haven't even made it to the floor. Ain't no showers, ain't none of that shit in Harris County Jail, man. You going from tank to tank to tank so you can see the goddamn judge the next day and the shit that you was arrested in, man. This shit is horrible conditions. You could just look, and I'm not saying they need to change it. I'm saying let me tell y'all what y'all looking at. All these motherfuckers here in their clothes was arrested in these clothes the day before, and they've been in holding tanks for the last 24 or 30 hours, waiting to get in front of this motherfucking judge to see if they can make bond or not. And then when the judge say you can or you can't make bond, it's gonna be another 24 hours before you even get out, even if you got the money to get out. If you don't have the money to get out, then they gonna have you in another processing so they can send you to the floor or whatever after you see the judge. Man, this shit, listen, you could go to jail for a misdemeanor fight and it's gonna take you at least 30 hours to get out with money in your pockets and all. Man, I tell the law, don't arrest me here. Here go the money right here. Let me pay you right here, because just on a bullshit charge, you finna lose 2 days fucking around, right? Yeah, just on a bullshit charge, you finna lose 2 days fucking around in the Harris County Jail, man. Point blank, period. But this is what you looking at. This is what that gangster shit, tough talk shit, this what that shit look like the next day. Ain't none of these motherfuckers in here tough. Ain't none of these motherfuckers got that same energy. And everybody in this bitch stink. Ain't nobody took a bath. Ain't nobody brushed their teeth. Ain't nobody done nothing about hygiene. They going right in front of that motherfucking judge. Musty, funky, dirty, stinking, nasty, all that shit. That's what that shit look like. Ain't no jewelry on you. Ain't none of that shit. If I go in there right now, I gotta take this jewelry, this hat off. I'ma sit in that bitch and I'ma get the stinking before I go see the fucking judge. And even with the money I got, it's gonna take another 10, 15 hours just for me to get out. If anybody really been through that process and know that process, that's what it look like. So that's why when I see this, I could tell y'all what I'm looking at. And that's why everybody in there, arms folded and all this, man, these niggas stink. This shit is a horrible condition. Long story short, man, please know what you getting your ass into before you get into it. Old school was accepting that $300, and now you got 2 bodies, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to tell you, stress is the #1 killer in the world. He done made it to live 77 years. Ain't no motherfucking way he gonna live that much longer with this amount of stress that they just placed on his ass. He finna be out of here, man. And that's the story, and that's what it is, man. Understand what you getting yourself into before you get into it. Was that shit worth $300? I don't know. But he need to start planning his funeral. Party over, nigga. Straight like that. And we gonna go home, man, to the next topic, man. Party goddamn over for old school. That's just the actual factual truth right there, man. Hope y'all caught that.